A cowboy on a long journey stops at a small town for a beer. He ties his horse up outside the saloon and enters. The townsfolk eye him uneasily, but he makes his way to the bar and orders a beer. The bartender opens his beer, sets it down on the table, and says,
"I'd be careful if I was you. Townsfolk don't take kindly to newcomers. They give 'em a hard time."
"Is that so?" replies the cowboy as he rests his head on his fist and sips his beer. The bartender turns around, rolling his eyes. The cowboy finishes his beer, then decides to carry on his journey. However, as he steps outside, he finds his horse is missing. The cowboy storms back into the bar, draws his pistol, and fires it into the ceiling. Then he yells,
"All right, which one of you sidewinders stole my horse?"
The townsfolk looked between each other and then back at the cowboy. You could hear a pin drop.
"So nobody knows? All right, well, I'm gonna have myself another beer. If my horse still ain't there when I'm done, I'm gonna have to do what I done in Texas. And I don't like having to do what I done in Texas."
The cowboy finishes his beer, goes outside, and like magic, his horse is back. The cowboy gets back on his horse and begins riding out of town. Suddenly, the bartender runs outside and calls out to the cowboy,
"Excuse me, sir, I gots to know, what'd you have to do back in Texas?"
The cowboy turns around, looks at the bartender, and says, "Well, I walked home."